Hello students, how are you? I think you will be fine there. Student, yesterday I explained second part of the lesson, a letter to God. In that part, I told you that after the destruction of Lenshaw's crop, he was worried and he was thinking about the arrangement of the food for the whole year. And Lenshaw's family members were living in the lonely house on the top of a low hill because there were no house nearby the house of Lenshaw. That is why there was nobody to help Lenshaw. Now I am going to explain third part of this lesson. Listen, but in the hearts of all who lived in that solitary house, in the middle of the valley, but in the hearts of all family members of Lenshaw who were living in that lonely house, solitary house, in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope, help from God, and all family members of Lenshaw had a single hope. The hope was to get help from God. They had a great faith in God. Don't be so upset. Even though this seems like a total loss, remember, no one dies of hunger. That is what they say, no one dies of hunger. They try to make themselves understand that it is not need to be disturbed. It is not need to be disturbed in sufferings. Even though this seems like a total loss, even though our crop has been completely destroyed, we do not need to be disturbed. We do not need to be worried because God is there to help us. Remember, no one dies of hunger. And they were thinking, they were trying to make themselves understand that no one dies of hunger and God cannot leave anyone to die of hunger. It means God will provide food to everyone. That is what they say, no one dies of hunger. All through the night, Lenshaw thought only of his one hope, the help of God. All through that night, Lenshaw was thinking only of his one hope, the help of God. Through whole night, Lenshaw was thinking about taking the help from God. Through whole night, Lenshaw was hoping that God would help him. Whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. And Lenshaw's parents told him that God knows everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. God knows everything, even what is deep in one's heart, one's mind. God knows everything, what is the person thinking and what is person going to do. If the person is sad, if the person is happy, God knows everybody. What a person needs, God knows everything. That is why he thought that God would surely help me, because my family had been suffering. Lensho was an ox of a man, working like an animal in the fields, but still he knew how to ride. Lensho was an hard worker, and he used to do work in the field like an ox, like an animal, but still he knew how to write. Even after that, he knew to read and write. He was literate. The following Sunday at daybreak, just after the daybreak, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to town and place in the mail. On the following Sunday, after daybreak, he started writing a letter to God, which he decided to carry to town and to place in the letter box. After writing a letter, he thought of going to town in order to place that letter which was addressed to God, which was in the name of God, to drop in the mailbox. It was nothing less than letter to God. The following Sunday he wrote a letter, and he thought that he would carry that letter to town, and then after reaching town he would place that letter in the letter box. Now students, I think you will have understood this part of the lesson, and you will have also understood that what the writer wants to say. Writer wants to convey the message to the readers that even in the sufferings, a person should not need to be worried. He should not be disturbed. He should pray to God to remove his suffering, because God is only a power. God is the supreme power who can solve all the problems, because he knows everything. Now students, I will explain the next part of the lesson tomorrow, and I request you to read and write the explanation which I will provide you in written. Thank you and have a nice day.